His job may have seemed complex, but it was at times deceptively simple. The Noise Chamber Theater Production Company was one of the best in the empire. It took pride in producing captivating audio dramas that brought to life the wild and fantastical tales of local cultivators, heroes, and on occasion, notorious villains. The producer was the man in charge of recording, editing, and caring for the patrons. The last was the hardest. The recording and editing were quite complex, relying on several magical devices filled with formation arrays and complex key-forged artifacts. It wasn't something a layman could simply activate and use, but it was still much simpler to deal with, the complex formation maths, than to handle the cultivators they were recording. More than one previous producer had been evaporated into a thin mist by a sect elder who was displeased by the results of the production. Today was going to be one of those more interesting days for him. He was here in the lowly city of Yuzhong, the mudhole at the ass end of the empire. The air was ashes, an important consideration to his formation device. The people were drab, and the place lacked any nice hotel for the producer and his staff to remain in. But the show must go on, and this one in particular was going to be quite the show. A recorded retelling of the adventures of the infamous necromancer Harold, as well as the self-proclaimed ruler of Yuzhong, the terrifying Fan Fang Fang. Also, the undead Lich's butler was here. The producer got a tap on his shoulder from an assistant, and he nodded in return. The guests of honor were here. Running out of the front of their rented studio while adjusting his robes, he took a deep breath, then opened the door. He was welcomed by the sight of three strange figures, a short woman with a scarf wrapped around her large neck and large glasses perched on her face. She seemed quite frumpy, really, for someone claiming to be the ruler of an entire city. Next to her, the not much taller form of a very dead man wearing a tweed suit. And a step behind both, a cat-eared, maid-dress-wearing person of indeterminate gender.
Welcome,
The producer said with his best plastered-on smile.
I've been awaiting you. Come in, come in. You must be our storytellers for the day?
Indeed,
The undead said.
I'm quite eager to get to work. It's not every day that you get to bring your own necromantic narrative to life, or unlife.
The producer felt his smile grow a little fixed. He was going to have to do something about that laugh.
Right, yes, of course. Honored, Lich, sir.
He said.
And you two must be Lady Fin Fang Fang and...
Oh, I'm Alex.
The maid said delicately.
At your service.
Hello.
The young woman said.
You don't need to call me Lady Fin Fang Fang. Just Fin Fang is fine.
We like to call her the Limpet, for reasons which we find quite obvious.
Alex added.
Yes, of course.
The producer said.
Please follow me. The recording booth is just this way. I imagine you've had time to think of how to deliver your stories.
The producer led the three guests through the studio, trying to suppress the crawling feeling up his spine. It wasn't the first time he had worked with particularly strange cultivators, but this? Oh, this was different. He led the undead trio down the hall, his mind already running through the 1,001 things that could go wrong with this recording session. Magical interference, sound distortions, ego-fueled tantrums, spontaneous murder, the usual. But Harold and his entourage had a different kind of presence, the sort that made him acutely aware of the way his flesh clung to his bones. Harold hovered slightly above the floor, moving with an eerie weightlessness. Limpet fidgeted with her scarf, somehow managing to trip over a completely flat surface before catching herself with an awkward cough. Alex, meanwhile, strode forward and with demure poise, barely making a sound. They reached the recording booth. The producer gestured toward the 3 seats in the front of the enchanted sound formation.
Right. If you'll just take your seats, we can begin.
Ah, excellent. I'd hate to record this sitting on the floor. My dignity is already in a rather grave state.
Limpet gave him a flat look.
Mr. Please.
Harold gracefully, or rather eerily, floated down into his seat, while Alex settled in with the elegance of a cat claiming its throne. The limpet frumped onto her seat. He wasn't even sure if frumping was a thing, but she certainly went and did it.
Right.
He said, forcing a thin-lipped smile.
Now that we're all settled, let's start with a simple test. Just a few sentences so I can adjust the formation to your voices.
Harold perked up immediately.
Oh, a sound test. Music to my non-existent ears.
The producer ignored him and turned to Limpet instead.
Well, why don't you start, Lady Fin Fang?
Oh, okay. This is it. How the entire world will hear me for the first time. No pressure.
Limpet nodded and leaned in toward the formation array. She took a deep breath.
I am the rightful empress of Yu Yang, the...
The recording array let
Yang?
out a horrible screech, sparks arcing across its surface before the entire formation exploded in a shower of key-infused smoke. One of the producer's assistants let out a tiny, horrified squeak. For a long moment, nothing moved. A wisp of smoke lazily toward the ceiling. The producer himself staring at the smoldering remains of his very expensive recording device. He took a very slow breath in, then exhaled, then slowly turned to face Limpet.
What an explosive way to start a tale. Though perhaps we ought to start a little earlier and a little quieter.
Harold said.
We're here to record history, not make it. And scene.
Well
end.
done, Harold!
Thank you. Thank you,
Yes.
everyone, for being
Love-
here.
The lovable Harold.
The lovable, amicable, affable,
And
Amiable?
well-loved.
bony, and well-loved. Yes, the beloved Harold. Welcome, everyone, to Soundbooth Theater Live. I'm looking up at my light as if it's my camera, but it is not. We are here with the wonderful, incomparable Ryan Reed to my left, I guess, from screen. And below me here is the lovely Miss Annie Ellicott. And it is the 3 of us today here. I keep on looking
For
at the
your
screen.
viewing pleasure.
For your viewing pleasure. Indeed.
Pleasure.
Yes. So, what do we got on the docket today? Well, you just heard a snippet from, well, it's a scene that was written by the incomparable Ravens Dagger, who is here waiting in the wings, and he is going to be joining us later for a wee interview. Yes, exactly. So stay tuned. Look forward to that. Of course, he is the author of Dead Tired and Stray Cat Strut and Magical Girl and all of these other series.
Now, Justin, forgive me. I'm still newer to the Soundbooth, or SBTL. Have we had
Sure.
Ravens Dagger on before?
That's a good question. I don't remember. I don't believe we have.
Well, then that's
actually.
awesome. What a treat, because this has
Yes.
been one of our explosively well-loved series that have popped out in the last couple of years. This is just
Yeah.
it's exciting.
It's
to have
very
him,
popular.
and
And people, I'm curious in the chat if you've heard of Dead Tired, or have you listened to Ravens Dagger at all? If you've listened to Ravens Dagger or read his work, please leave a comment and let us know so that and be ready with questions if you have any for the interview segment. All right. Well, I think it's time that we jump into the news.
I guess we're making ourselves.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's it.
Okay.
All right.
was
So news. What news we got today? Well, it's pretty scrappy news today. We had a big release. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but there's this little book known as Dungeon Crawler Carl 7 that came out a week ago yesterday. You know that one?
I've heard of it.
You heard of it? It rings a bell? Yeah, so it came out, and by now, I'm imagining a lot of people in the chat have already listened to it. It hit #1 in all of fiction on Audible, which is
And number 2 in all of
absolutely-
Audible,
and
right?
number 2 in all of Audible. Yeah.
Incroyable.
These darn
Yes.
people out here trying to do their self-help crap. It's like, just deal with the fact that you're a terrible person. Just be fine with it.
Just
You
live
know,
your life.
I've dealt with
live your
it.
life.
I'm
Deal with the fact
fine.
that you're a terrible person and write a book like Dungeon Crawler Carl.
There you go, see? And then, and then we can all be entertained. Stop trying to fix yourself, Kevins.
Come on, Kevins.
Of course. DCC narrated
Kevins
by
is one man. This is one
Kevins.
man.
Kevins. Kevins. It's his army name. So that was, of course, narrated by Jeff Hayes. If you haven't picked it up already, I don't know what you're doing. I mean, it's there. It's available. It's on Audible. You can listen to it right now. Go.
Right now.
You know, I have
right
to say, with
now.
my admission is that I am still actually only on book 5, which I hear is one of the best. I'm excited. I'm only on chapter 2. I just started, so I'm.
How dare you,
I haven't gotten it
Ryan.
yet because
Shame.
Yeah, I know I'm still.
Book 5.
Yeah, ring your little bell. Shame.
Well, I'm a hypocrite. I'm only on book 2. Brace for tomatoes. Ah, nice. Okay, I'm looking at the comments here.
Yeah,
Someone says that listening to DCC is self-help, and that's what I hear, and that's what I feel with book 1 actually. But we don't have to get into it. But yeah, there's a lot of depth to that series, which I really admire. I think.
Dude.
I imagine it only gets better.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there are elements where, like, I'm not going to give away any plot points or anything, but there's a lot of, like, Carl shaking his fist at the world that he's been placed in and not a lot that he can do. But when that switch happens and he's able to start taking some more agency, it is insane. I mean, there are ultimately so many insane parts about this series, just consistently just bashing your head against insanity. But, like, oh, it is. I wish people would get past the, like, hype of it if they're unsure about trying it, because it is genuinely not just one of my favorite, like, lit RPGs, but one of my favorite series I've ever listened to. It's holy hell. Yeah.
What an endorsement. All right.
I'm doing my lifts at the gym, like, listening to like the 500 voices of Jeff Hayes.
Yeah.
That
The
in itself
range.
is a marvel.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
exactly.
Seriously. Well, that is out. DCC 7 is out. We also had a new release yesterday. This one on the Soundbooth Theater platform. It is written by a fellow named Timothy Dalton, who you may know Sin from Sin's Corner. Well, Timothy is Sin's brother, and he wrote this very cool, like, noir, like modern noir investigation action book called "And the Tide Turns."
Oh, cool.
So that is available on our platform now, and it's a very cool book. And
Did you have to whip out any Russian dialect for this one? I'm just seeing the sickle.
no, I'm sure
sickle.
Jeff did though. I think I played one character, and I basically was the, I'm retiring next. I'm retiring
army
at the
guy?
end of this year, and no, I'm the sidekick, the grizzled
Okay,
old
cool.
black sidekick, Danny Glover essentially, but not quite.
Oh, for this shit. Yeah.
Thanks God. Yeah, God, you've been doing this.
God
for a
literally,
while.
yeah, God's the OG tool.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's looking down at us like, oh, it keeps getting worse.
Exactly. Yeah. Sin says Jeff had to do the Russian dialect. Justin played the MC's best buddy, Art, and named after Arturo. Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Sin's son. Oh, that's
Nice.
awesome. That's so cute.
So we've got And the Tide Turns. Definitely check that one out. That one's it's not lit RPG. It's not progression fantasy. It's straight up action mystery crime.
I always
solving
love
stuff.
when don't get me wrong. I love our bread and butter, love lit RPG, but it is always exciting when we get to spice it up with a little bit of something outside of our usual rep. I mean, that's always so fun.
Definitely.
I'm not gonna lie. When you said when you were like, okay, I don't know if you've ever heard of Timothy Dalton, then I was like, the Bond, like James Bond, Timothy Dalton. I was like, oh,
different Timothy Dalton. No relation. Yeah. Not to my knowledge. I mean, maybe.
Maybe
Sen,
that's why
are you
Sin's so
related
into
to
movies.
Timothy
Yeah.
Dalton? Wow,
Yeah.
cool. And yeah, there's a book version that has Sin's other brother Matt did a bunch of really cool like comic book sketches in the book itself. So unfortunately, that was very hard to get across in the audio. So we just opted to narrate it and not try to visually describe those images. Moving on.
He does go by 007.
He does.
Okay.
Makes sense. He would. Oh, I loved him. He's a great guy. Lastly, we have a book coming up, a release coming up. Also, it's going to be on the platform. It's going into pre-order on this Thursday, a.k.a. tomorrow,
Wowie.
I believe. I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow. Sin, let me know if we got our wires crossed here. But this is Magical Girl Crystal Genocide by a Ravens Dagger, finally making its way to the audio experience. And it's not available on the app yet, so you're going to have to tune in soon for that. And it's going to be available fully on March 6th. So you can go pick it up then. I did see someone ask in the chat whether or not it is PG, and I'm just going to make a note of that to ask RavensDagger, because that's a really good question. There is some violence. There's definitely some violence and
Well,
things
it says
exploding,
genocide in the
but-
title. I've got to just assume.
Yeah, true. The Earth may explode. No spoilers. That's you'll see. You'll see soon that it's not a spoiler. Is Magical Girl PG?
That'd be kind of like saying that the world implodes as a spoiler for DCC. It's like, we know.
Yeah,
It
right,
happens in the
exactly.
first
It
10
happens in
seconds.
the first 20 minutes or something like that. Yeah. So that's the news.
Ooh, that's such a cute
Yeah.
cover. I love
Yeah.
that. That
This
looks
is
awesome.
So good.
I think we'll have to ask
I'm
Raven.
so jealous of that hair.
I know.
cool,
I'm like, yeah. That girl's got the flow. Like Beyonce could never.
I'm very excited about this production because we got quite a big cast. Or I'm excited for this series. And we'll talk about it more with Ravens Dagger, but we got quite a big cast for this, and a lot
Now, does
of
this
names
one fall
that you will
into
recognize.
lit RPG?
No, I think this one falls more into Magical Girl. It
My
feels
favorite
kind of
genre.
like Sailor Moon, like
Oh, that is cool.
Sailor Moon meets Attack on Titan a little bit in this one. Yeah,
Cool.
it's.
I'll save my questions for when Ravens Dagger's also here.
Yeah, good idea. Hey, well, actually, speaking of, I think it might be time that we bring Ravens Dagger in here. That's the news. So I think we're ready to bring him on and ask him some questions.
Thank you, Ryan.
I love your little newscaster sound. It's great.
Well,
We
usually we
normally
have
have
the
a
sound
sound.
effects. So. This was the
Hey,
year that
gotta
we
make
had
sure.
our shit together, and it's showing.
Ravens Dagger is here. Hello, Ravens Dagger. Welcome to your very first
Yes,
Soundbooth
it is. I
Theater
believe
Live.
my first
Yes.
interview with Soundbooth Theater.
Ah, yes.
Welcome.
Hello.
Oh, so great to have you here. As I was saying earlier, Ravens Dagger is the author of Dead Tired, Magical Girl Crystal Genocide. Those are the two titles or series that we're working on. But you are quite prolific. That's something that I've noticed is very special about you.
I've got a series or two out there. Yeah.
Yeah. How many are you at right now?
Oh,
Do you
boy.
have a number?
Off the top of my head, I think 27, but I'm not sure.
Oh,
Series?
active?
Yes.
Active?
No, not active. Active, I
okay.
usually keep. I never go past 7 because past 7 active series, I kind of start losing track of things.
Okay.
I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, seven's a nice
Wow.
number because I write 2 chapters a day, so 7 means I can produce 14 chapters a week. And
That's
like,
wildly impressive.
Yeah, but I have a
see.
thing in my head where I can't write the same story 2 days in a row. So I just have to kind of like alternate the chapters. So I have like chapter A of one story, and then the next day none, and then the day after that I can do the same story again. So I have time
Now, is that
to
just like to keep it
chapters.
fresh for yourself, or is that kind of also maybe like an ADHD like coping tool?
I've never been diagnosed, but the signs are maybe there.
Signs pointing toward
no,
yes.
it's more of a time issue. I just need
yeah.
time to think between chapters.
Yeah, let things stew a bit.
Let things stew a bit, and I've realized a while ago that like letting things stew doesn't necessarily mean not doing anything at all. So I can let things stew on one thing and then be working on another thing at the same time, which
You strike a balance
lends
with
itself
that.
very well to like juggling different series.
Right. So then, of your active series right now, which ones can you say that you have a favorite or favorites that you are enjoying, or is that
Okay.
kind of inherent to this system where it's kind of your favorite every day?
The lamest answer is that the most recent story is always the favorite because that's
Yeah,
the one where
okay.
you get like the most passion for it and it's like new ideas. So
Right.
for me right now, that's No Strings Attached, which is
Okay.
very different from all my other work. A bit closer to Dead Tired than most, but like still kind of different. It's a Elden Ring inspired Miyazaki, J.R. Martin style, very dark fantasy, exploring an apocalypse, but it's fantasy. Post-apocalypse fantasy with puppet people.
Really?
Really
Puppet
messed
people.
up.
Wow.
Lots
That's
of
that feels like where the Miyazaki's coming into me.
yeah, a little bit.
puppet
It's very
people element.
transhumanism, but
Hold on. They're puppets. They're like you've written them as puppets.
Yeah,
Right.
this is a really
okay.
fascinating. Okay.
Please.
Very quick premise drop
Yeah, I was like,
on a story
okay,
that's only
unpack.
launching in, I think next week, on Royal Road.
Oh, wow.
There's this big continent. On this continent, there are these dragons. It makes the people that are on this continent have draconic essence in them because they eat food that has been fertilized by the dragons, and they make alliances with these dragons. So they're very powerful. It's the biggest continent in the world in terms of military might, in terms of power. They're rich. They have hordes of gold for their dragon lords. They have huge architecture. They are the empire at the center of the world. They're very strong. And then the dragons all die over the course of a couple weeks.
Wow.
And now all the people that have draconic essence in them, who get draconic traits a little bit, they become taller, scaly skin, very strong. They start to become corrupted, cancerous growths appear on their bodies, and they start losing their minds. There's a wizard from another continent who's the main character. This very powerful wizard guy. He's interested in what's going on. He wants to find out, and he has a daughter on the continent in a wizard academy, and he wants to go there and save his daughter. But you cannot set foot on this land because it's corrupted. It will kill you.
Right.
You will consume draconic essence because it's in the air, it's in the ground, it's in the water.
It's like
And so
radioactive.
it's kind of like radioactive, but
Dragon
significantly
falling. Yeah.
worse, right? So he cannot go there and save his own daughter, who he suspects is maybe safe where she is. So he creates these puppets from these dead bodies that he has, and he sends these puppets out on excursions into this dreadful, messed up land, and they come back to him every so often. So there's like a progression fantasy system
cool,
where,
yeah.
as the puppets kill people and absorb draconic essence, they become more powerful.
Wow.
And you have this kind of fun.
But he's
post-
becoming more powerful. Like it's him. Like do they have any agency of their own?
They
Or-
do.
puppet people.
he picks up a bunch of like bodies to make the puppets, so they
Okay.
have no memories, but they kind of have personality.
Okay.
And there's this very transhumanist aspect. Like early on, he gives them like really roughly made, poorly made bodies that are basically barrels and like chunks of wood, whatever. But then he transfers them over into newer bodies as they improve. So we have this kind of like messed up from the impression of the puppet who's like, who am I? My memories are gone, but I have these impressions and these feelings, and all these things are kind of cool, but I
Right.
don't know what's going on. And then they lose their body, and then they have a new body, and it's like,
Mm.
I'm really enjoying exploring this much darker side of things.
Yeah.
From my usual fare is
Cool.
very wholesome, kind of cuddly comedy
Sounds
stuff. And
like
this
it
is
kind
very
of goes
different.
down the rabbit hole of like the consciousness rabbit hole, which is like
Yes,
a
very
really
much.
fun
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I've been enjoying
subject.
writing that a lot.
Wow.
But as far as like favorite series, Stray Cat Strut and Cinnamon Bun have been ongoing for 4 or 5 years now, and those two are usually very easy to write. Cinnamon Bun is just very wholesome and like fun and cuddly, and it's just like it's very easy to write. And Stray Cat Strut is just cyberpunk fun, lots of
Yeah.
violence, lots
cool.
of explosions, lots of
Yeah.
numbers going
That
up.
was your did you say that was like the first series that you wrote that was like kind of made a splash?
Kind of. I think my
Yeah.
first series that did well enough that I earned good money on it was Lovecrafted. But Lovecrafted
yeah.
was a one-off. It wasn't a series. It was just the one book, and it was relatively short. And it did. Nowadays, I would consider it to have done very poorly. If I were to launch it now and make the same amount of money, it would be like, oh, that's a flop. But 6 years ago, that was good money for me. That was like, wow, that's a lot. And like it gave me the confidence and like the push I needed to try different things. And then I launched like Cinnamon Bun and Stray Cat Strut and
Yeah.
20 other series.
So yeah, you've got all these ideas, you've got all these series, like where do we, this is such a cliche, interview question, but I'm really curious if you have some sort of, where do the ideas come from for you? Is there a place where you find them? Is it video games? Is it other fiction? Is it just combining tones and
Yeah,
little nuggets?
I find getting ideas is very easy.
Okay.
I think you can sit down in a quiet room and just come up with like a genuinely good idea relatively easily. The issue is not finding ideas; it's the hundreds and hundreds of hours required to turn that idea
Flesh
into
it out
actual.
and become
Yeah, to actually get an idea and make it say, hey, I want this idea to actually be like a full production thing. That's like 300-400 hours of work. That takes longer than just coming up with a cool premise or a cool thing to explore. As for where I get the like base ideas, oftentimes that's like, yeah, I play a lot of games. I watch shows. I read quite a lot of books, especially within like the genre itself, like a prog fan, lit RPG. So yeah, I steal ideas from all over the place, like just
Right.
little cool things, little snippets, and like, oh, that's really neat, or I like this one scene here, and oh, that joke was funny, and I want to like rework it and do like a different thing. So yeah, I think that's where most ideas germinate from.
Right.
Has there been something
then-
like either in media right now that has been like particularly inspiring, like a show that you've been really enjoying, or a game playing, or something?
Well, like I mentioned, No Strings Attached was inspired by Elden Ring, which I picked up when it came out and disliked it quite a bit. And I picked it up again in, I believe, November, and I logged in 300 hours in that game in like the space of like 3 months.
Let's go! You
And it,
put in the
I
work.
I got hooked to that game really hard, and I was like, oh man, this is like, hated the lore. Thought like I had issues with the storytelling in the game, but there's so much in that game where you come like you walk into these scenes that are beautiful, and it's like, oh, the aesthetic is so on point. It's so nice that it's like, okay, I really want to explore these things and like come up with an explanation for why they're the way they are, and build from these neat ideas that I'm seeing.
Do you find like do you set a 2-chapter limit every day, and do you find it hard to dial back writing this? Because it sounds like you've got a lot of passion and excitement about this idea.
I could do 3 chapters a day. I've done it before. I've probably done it like a couple times this month. The issue is time.
Yeah.
I do need to eat and sleep at some point, and that gets in the way of getting more work done. But also, like I have a lot of
pesky
people
human
constantly telling
traits.
me, "Yeah, I know, right? It's like, come on, do I really need to sleep and eat, use the washroom? Come on."
It'd be so much easier if you were undead.
Exactly.
Right?
You got it. You got it. But no, really, it depends on the project. Some stories I can kick out a chapter in an hour. Stray Cat Strut is like that. It's always consistently been like a very fast, like no real thoughts about it. Just sit down, whatever's cool in my head, put that down, let's go. Other stories, I will sit down and it'll take me like 3-ish hours to write a chapter, 3-4 hours. And there have been some stories that like within like my Discord or within my like my friend groups and whatever, they have the reputation of being extremely difficult. The Agartha Loop comes to mind, which is a time travel story I wrote a while ago. That story, a chapter took 6 hours, easily.
Wow.
And
Now,
it's
are you
no
pretty
longer
consistent on how many words you aim for in
yes,
a chapter?
yes.
Is it, okay. What's your
I'm very
usual,
consistent, usually within like 10 to 20 words of
wow.
my goal. 1,500 words per chapter, which is relatively short.
Yeah, it's a pretty
but
short
it's-
chapter, like a 10, 15
they're very
minute,
short
15
chapters.
minute
Yeah.
quarter,
It's only about 3,000 words a day. But the Agartha Loop, like Stray Cat Strut, I can write 1,500 words in an hour, no problem. Agartha Loop, I was writing about 200 words an hour. And
Wow.
Why,
So that's
why is it
pretty-
so much harder? Like, what is it about time loop that?
time loops, I am never
It's a
doing a
challenge.
time loop thing ever again. Absolute nightmare.
It's hard to do well.
It's
hard
so
to keep
difficult
it
to do
straight
well.
because people like I don't know what it is. It's not even just like true fans of that genre or anything, but it's just like anyone that's watching a time related thing. It's like I feel like we're programmed to like oh he fucked it
find
up.
the
He messed it up.
mistakes.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's wrong. And so you're just like
there's something about
Yeah.
it, right? There's something about time loop stories
Mhm.
where you instantly prime your. Well, I guess it's because you're looking for the differences in loops and the errors in
Mhm,
time stuff,
mhm.
and we're just primed to start looking for problems with
Oh,
the
yeah.
plot. And it's like, if I don't want to be that person who made all those mistakes, I have to like be very careful. So the first loop is very easy to write because it's just a bunch of events, and the second loop, you have to keep in mind every single event that happened in the first loop, and they all have to happen in the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're writing to the beat of your first loop. And then the third loop, you have to remember that what happened in the second loop and what happened in the first loop, well, the main events that happened in the world happened, but not
Right.
necessarily the changes that the character brought to the world in the first and second loops. And now the fourth loop, and it
Oh
just
my goodness.
it's like layers upon layers of complication, and trying to
Wow.
remember that like character development that you made with the non-main character doesn't count because it never happened. And it's just very, very like twisty and complex, and hats off to anybody that wrote good time loop stuff or like time manipulation stories, because
shout out to
just
Shammy Stovall with
I was thinking like
Time
Maxime Durand with like the Perfect Run has a bit of that. I can't remember the author of Madoka Magica, but that story has like a lot of time looping stuff, and it's like quite complex. And yeah, no, it's very like just a nightmare to keep track of everything. If I was a different type of author, it might be easier for me. If I was a more like note oriented, very outline oriented author.
Plotter.
A plotter.
you're more of a pantser. Yeah.
I'm lean. I lean pantser more than plotter. I have like notes for my plots, but nothing detailed enough to do a good time loop story, I find.
I want to kind of swing over to talk about Dead Tired, just a hard whoop zag there. So Dead Tired doesn't have any time loops.
Thank God.
But there is a long time gap. I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about the concept of Dead Tired and where that came from for you, and why that excited you at the time.
Okay. So we mentioned inspirations for stories, and I was being positive about it. But here's the negative downside. I guess it's not negative downside. It's more of a darker take on it. As much as you can be inspired by something because it's good, spite is so much better for inspiration.
Spite, okay.
Oh, spite.
Let's
Spite is just
serve of the tea. Why are we spiteful? Come on, give it to me.
Oh
Give it the juicy
I was
stuff.
reading
Right.
all these cultivation stories because they start to blow up back in like Dead Tired. The first one is quite old now. I think it's like quite old for our niche. It's like what 3 years old now.
Yeah,
something like that. At the time, cultivation was blowing up. It was like really starting to appear, like lots of cultivation story. Beware of Chicken hadn't quite launched yet, but a few other stories had, and they were becoming popular. So I read a bunch of them, and I discovered that I really, really didn't like cultivation stories. I liked a lot of the things in them, the tropes that were part of it, but there's a lot of foundational stuff to cultivation in general that I just don't like. And I was like, I want to write a cultivation story. I think there's some parts of it that are neat, but I can't do it because there's these tropes that I really genuinely dislike. So I put a pin in it, and I was like, I can't do that type of story. I don't want to write a sociopathic, angry, egotistical main character. I don't really feel like doing that. And that's what was popular in the genre at the time.
Right.
And then I came up with the idea for Dead Tired. I was like, oh, well, what if I get someone who's not from a cultivation world and shove them into a cultivation world? And I was trying to figure out a way to do that nicely. I considered isekai, just grabbing a character from our world and shoving them into a cultivation world.
Sure.
But that didn't feel great, and I found that like I'd already written a couple of isekais, and I didn't want to have another. So I marinated on it for a long time, and I was like, okay, what if it's a character from this world who's like reincarnated? And no, again, because the reincarnated, they would start from scratch, and that's good for progression, but it's not good to bring change to a world. And finally, I settled on having a character be very strong, and they stay very strong. And the excuse kind of worked backwards for Dead Tired. I was like, oh, well, what if they're undead? What if they're a lich and they've just been powerful for all this time, but they've been inactive, and now they come back and they see the world has changed quite a bit.
Well, it gives them a great kind of, vantage point or perspective to be able to look at, to essentially criticize, or have a commentary on how the world has changed or how it doesn't line up with his values. The commentary is very strong.
I started off with that in mind, and I completely lost the plot on that.
Oh, really?
I will admit it, like right away. Like I was like, oh, I'm gonna make this great social commentary about all this stuff. Completely lost the plot at some point, and it just became like, oh, what if I'm funny instead? What if I just play this for laughs?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna challenge you on that because so I just finished reading. I read recently book 3 in preparation for narrating. I'm about halfway through narration on it, so you guys will be able to expect that in the next few months. But I think that you like there's one point in book 3 where you comment on the let me see if I can explain it. The sects and how like each tier that you go up in the sect, you separate yourself more and more and more and more from real people.
The
like
common
humanity.
person, yeah.
The common person. And, just that one point alone, I don't know, like you don't really dwell on it, too much, but I don't know. I still felt that spirit pretty strong through book 3. Definitely no less than any of the other ones personally.
Yeah,
maybe it's more baked in than you assume. Like you're maybe not like aimed at it, but it's inherently in the way you write.
It could
series,
be that.
perhaps.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of like, when I have a moment, I'm like, oh, yeah, I could shoehorn in some moral in here.
Yeah.
Then why not? I'm really looking forward to starting on Dead Tired 4.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't sure what to do with it for a long time, and I read a few more cultivation stories, and I was like, I have an idea for it. I haven't started it yet. I've just been taking notes and like getting like good resources to steal ideas from. I'm gonna make the entire 4th volume a tournament arc, because that's very common in cultivation stories. But I've never seen a tournament arc from the point of view of the people organizing the tournament.
Okay.
Fun.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think
yeah.
that
all
could
of
be
these
fun.
all of these like big tough like bros who are just like, yeah, everybody look at me, I'm the best, I'm gonna rise to the top.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Just
And,
like,
like-
but it's the perspective of the admin.
Exactly.
Just
And
sign your name here, please.
just write your name on the page. Yes, like you're next. Don't worry. Look, there's a little thing. No, sir, no.
Save it for the
Just-
arena. Save it for
Don't
the
get
arena.
angry at
Like,
him. Get
not-
like, you know, exactly. I really like that idea. I think there's a
Right.
lot of like comedic potential in having like the main characters be the ones like are scrambling to get everything organized in time. Of course, this would be a very limpet focused volume, where she's the one trying to organize this thing despite having no experience organizing large events.
Yeah.
Harold, of course, can be there as like the prize, basically. Hey, win this tournament, become immortal. You know, gain great power and secrets about the world and magic and stuff.
Right.
Entice all these like strong cultivators to show up and beat the snot out of each other. But yeah, I think it'll open itself up to like it's a good way to like add a bunch of new characters in. And then this is a trick I discovered in Stray Cat Strut. It's a bit cheaty, and it's a way. It's really good when you're writing web serials.
Yeah.
If you want if you want to introduce characters that the readers like, oftentimes the best way is to introduce a bunch of characters, have them all be extremely unique, and then let the audience pick out which ones they actually care about.
Kill the
I've done
other
this
ones.
Yeah, and like literally just get rid of the other ones. So like,
Yeah.
they don't show up again; they disappear. And then the ones that the audience were like, I really like this character, or like, I really hated that character. Whichever character the audience felt a lot about, you
Well,
just bring
the
that character
buzz.
back.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
all right. So I wanna jump on this here because, and then I want to talk a little bit about Magical Girl before
Yes,
we
yes.
wrap up the interview. But when you say this, is there a particular character that comes to mind as the golden child of this example?
The audience, or
The audience really in Stray Cat Strut's 4th book.
Oh, in Dead Tired, I meant, but yeah.
Oh yeah, in
Stray
Dead Tired.
Cat
Dead
Strut.
Tired. Oh yeah, in Dead Tired. Mem was supposed to die.
Mem.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, Mem was definitely like she was supposed to be introduced as like this cutesy character that's like kind of a ditz, and she was supposed to die. Like that was her plot line. It was like, yeah, she gets introduced, she does this thing, she dies. And I leaked the fact that she was going to die, and I got dozens and hundreds of memes. Like people were spamming my comments, "Justice for Mem," and they had like they took posters of protest and they would replace the signs, and people made artwork of like Mem.
wow.
But, like,
At that point, you
Well,
had
Mem
to.
Do not kill Mem.
Well,
Yeah.
Mem is so lovable.
Who voices them for us?
Well,
I
actually,
do.
Annie, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so Mem was very much supposed to die like soon after being introduced, but people liked Mem so much for being like wholesome and silly and like just trying her best and not being very good at it.
Annie,
That's
when-
so me.
yeah, I was gonna ask Annie, when you're voicing Mem, like what do you do to get into character?
I just be me
Exist.
with like a higher voice.
Mem is like the
I
absolute
just
girl
want to hug
failure.
someone,
But yeah, she was supposed to die like very soon after being introduced,
Oh.
and the readers protested it. They were like, "No, you can't do this." And I was like, "All right, Mem can stay, and I'll work her into
By
the story."
popular demand. She
By popular
lives.
demand, she will not die. But yeah, I don't regret it. Obviously, Mem turned out to be like a great
No.
member of the cast, and like she got a bit more character growth and everything. But I still feel like some of her character growth was like shoehorned in because, like I said, she wasn't supposed to live. So it's like she didn't need a whole past and like a whole background to figure things out because
Yeah.
she wasn't going to be alive long enough to have a background.
right.
So I had to
right.
work that in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I truly enjoyed the whole Mem storyline, and of course Annie's performance on that is just when I read it, I was like, oh, Annie's perfect for the role
Yeah.
here.
Mem has some great moments in the third book.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Mantis Queen arc.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you're writing, how
So-
much do you consider for audio? Like when you're like, do you hear people's voices? When you're writing?
No, and you guys did that cold open right at the start,
Mhm.
and I was burying. Well, by the way, Ryan, great job. I
thank
really
you.
liked your narration. It was really good. But I was listening to it, and I don't always listen to my own audiobooks. Like I'll listen to some of them, but not all of them. There's just not enough hours in my day, I guess.
Yeah.
And also, this is gonna sound really stupid, but I've read the book before. I don't need to listen to the audio, right?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
I know what happens. But when there's narration going on and there's just a single narrator and they're doing all the voices, I write the story in a certain style, and I think it's fine for that, where it's like Ryan, if you're narrating something and there's a part that says the character says these words, blah 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 blah, he said blah 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 blah, it's not a problem, right? Whereas if it's the character said a thing and then Justin comes in and says the thing, blah 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 blah, I don't know how to pick a deep voice, and then the narrator jumps back and says he said, and then Justin returns with the blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
It feels really choppy, I find.
Mhm.
And it's
Oh,
something
yeah.
that I never really considered in my own writing, and I think it's something I'm going to legitimately have to change. I might have to write going forward like 2 versions of Dead Tired, one for like normal publication and one for audio production. Whereas usually I don't need to worry so much because the single narrator, they're doing all the voices. The he said, she said isn't as choppy, or the characters'
That's
voices are
interesting.
just read without a
it's
character accent.
less contrast. We do actually take out a lot of the he saids and she saids.
Yes, I've noticed as well, which is great. I genuinely don't mind.
Unless it adds to the flavor. If it's like saying while he took his hat off or he buried his face in his hand or something.
Yes. Where it's that
it's
returns to narration. It's not just like the he said she said half the time is there
Just to keep it
tell
straight
the
for the reader.
reader. Which person is talking. Like,
Yeah.
this is that character that said it.
Yeah.
Which is why I usually
Sometimes-
have it near the beginning.
Sometimes it's needed. Sometimes like just that, and also humor. Sometimes it's like, says the line, he said, just a little pause to add a little bit of like
You get that
there's
little
like a gap.
I love having the I don't get the opportunity to do it very often, but like playing with the he said she says.
Oh yeah.
There's this great passage in I'm being very egotistical right now. I'm saying there's a great passage in one of my own books. In Cinnamon Bun, the main character can speak every language. That is one of their big powers. It's very strong. They can communicate with anybody. And it's a type of very violent lit RPG, but the main character's goal is to be peaceful and pacifist and talk through problems. At some point, the main character meets these bee people, and they talk by dancing. So there couldn't be a he said, she said, because they weren't saying anything. They were dancing it. So it was like, hey, how are you doing? She tangoed. Oh, I'm doing really well.
That's kinda
She
fun.
cha-cha'd real smooth. And I just got to like insert all these like things, but it got really emotional towards the end because they were saying their goodbyes. And it's like, bye, I hope we see each other someday, she twerked.
That's so fun.
And like I got to play with that a
Menace.
little bit. And those times I think it's really fun.
Oh
But,
my goodness! You just gave me an idea. I think so. We do for live performances.
Don't start twerking.
Well,
Hey,
I
tell
mean,
me
you'll
what
get
to
those
do.
views up, you know.
I was gonna say the
that's
views.
what we're all about.
Yeah.
This is a twerking house, baby. We do some live shows, and every now and then variety shows, and I think this would make a great like sketch,
Yeah.
like on stage. Because we're often just standing in front of our mics, just like using our voices, but to be able to add an element of this, that could be really fun. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
very, very quickly, we're running out of time here,
Oh,
but I
yes.
want to talk with you about Magical Girl Crystal Genocide. What are you excited about with this series?
Ooh, man,
Shattered Earth.
The Magical Girl series is, yeah, the Shattered Earth series. I keep forgetting its sub series name. The titles
Right.
get really long in that one, so forgive
Yeah,
me
yeah.
for forgetting like the little appended bits at the end. But the Magical Girl Shattered Earth series is such a stupid idea, but it's so much fun.
Explain why stupid, and then how did we get
Well,
to fun for our
all right.
viewers that are
Stupid
as you're
because
giving them the hard sell right now.
yeah, okay, hard sell, really hard sell. I'm not helping myself. I really like writing different worlds. Like I love doing world building, different magic systems, and the Magical Girl series was basically, hey, here's a really neat way of introducing like 12 different settings with 12 different magic systems that are all entirely different in like different genres and different styles. Justin mentioned like the first book is in a world that has like an Attack on Titan-esque power system. And the second world is based on Roadside Picnic and Stalker, where it's like very Eastern European, Ukrainian, Russian, post-apocalyptic style. And then the third world is like a superhero setting. And as the characters go along, they're basically, the main character is basically saving her friends across different worlds. And each world has its own entirely unique take on like a different magic system based on like different things. So that was my initial premise, and it's just an excuse for me to write 12 genres but with the same character, like the same cast of characters.
That's a brilliant idea, actually. I love that.
It's really fun, but it's also a really hard sell because like, hey, if you really like superhero stories and you want like a Magical Girl superhero story, there's not many of those. Read the third book in the series.
Yeah.
Right,
And it's like, right, you kind of need to read the first two for a little bit of context. You can pick up like I'm trying to write them so that you can pick any one of them up just like that, and it'd still be okay. But it does complicate things a little bit. So from that point of view, very stupid idea. It would have been significantly better financially to write like 12 different stories.
Not as bad as a time loop.
I don't know.
Not
I
as
think
bad
that's
as a time loop.
That sounds fun to me. I
It-
think
it
that
is
a lot
very
of people
fun.
would be
It's very creative.
excited by that. Yeah.
I think it's very neat. Artistically, it's very cool. Like switching settings like that and like developing the settings as like characters, and like the settings reflect the character that's being saved. So there's a lot of really neat stuff going on there. Financially, I think it's like, it's probably not the best idea because it's kind of a hard sell. And it's not like something like a premise you can sell in like one sentence.
Sure.
And it's not going to be like super attractive to everybody. But I'm
There's gonna
having
be
a lot of
nothing
fun
like it.
writing it. There's going to be
it's-
nothing like it, right?
It's a ton of fun. Yeah.
Do the styles stay pretty much in each book? Is a separate style, or
no,
do
the
they
styles
merge?
stay pretty much in each book. As the main character saves her friends, they join her on the adventures. So like the first book is based on like these horrible monster nightmare things, and she's saving Magical Girl Rending Nightmare. So she saves this girl in the world with nightmare monsters. Great. The next book, Nightmare, the character, is with her. So we get the point of view of this character whose power is based on these nightmare things.
Book 12 is going to be so insane.
Book 12
for,
is going to be
the
a
cast.
nightmare to write.
Well,
Full
I'm thinking
cast,
about
12
yeah,
characters.
the production, and
Well,
this
yeah.
is something that I'm very, very excited about.
Yes, that is very cool. I
yeah.
don't know if everybody here has heard the. Have you published?
I haven't shared
Okay,
that yet.
okay.
I think I might
I'm on
actually. Ahmed and Rich, maybe what we'll do is for the next SBTL is actually the day before Magical Girl releases. So maybe we could play the opening intro for everybody, the animation. But yeah, there's an animation that we're going to be releasing on YouTube very soon that showcases. It's a sneak peek into the level of full cast that we want this to be. We don't have a different actor for every Magical Girl, but I think we've got 6.
A lot.
I think it was 6. Yeah,
actors.
which is that's a huge cast for anything.
So we've got Annie as Hungering. What is it? Hungering Inferno? Is it? What is it? Yep. And then we got Tiana Camacho. We've got Anjali Kunapineni. We've got Yinka Ledende. We've got Dory Sachs, of course. We've got Andrea Parsino. We've got Lori Catherine Winkle.
Wow, that's great. It's great.
That is stacked.
We have
Huge cast,
we have
huge
8. We have
production.
8. It's and then Vanilla Velasquez as well.
I'm confused why I was not asked to be a Supergirl. I think I really missed out an opportunity here. But you know,
We imagined you
I'm
in a
picking up
skirt
some
and we were like,
hypertense
yeah, that's not it.
breakpoint here.
yeah, I'm not gonna say I'm pissed, but
Well, we'll get you in the series, Ryan. We'll get you in as a character. Maybe not one of the girls. We'll get you a sailor or a tuxedo mask type.
Sailor Ryan.
Sailor Magical Girl Ryan. Hey guys. Well, this has been an absolute slice. Ravens Dagger, where can the people find you? And what do you want them to know about right now?
You can find me on Royal Road for any active web serial, and on Amazon, and obviously on Audible if you want to check out our Soundbooth productions. Upcoming things, No Strings Attached, coming up probably next week.
Oh, that's exciting.
Everything, if it goes well, so that's going to be very fun. I've got a bunch of books coming out this year. Stray Cat Strut 6, Cinnamon Bun 6, Stray Cat Strut 7, Cinnamon Bun 7. Let me see. Evil Antagonist, Magical Girl Crystal Genocide is coming out in March, right? 6th, I think, in audio.
March 6th.
All right. Hey, I actually remember the date
audiobook.
for once.
Yeah.
we got a
That's-
suggestion
that's
from
a
the comments. Are you also on Patreon and Discord?
I am on Patreon, and I do have a very active
Thanks, Lag
Patreon
Demon.
Discord. Thank you,
Mhm.
random commenter. So that really great little area if you guys want to hang out and chat and stuff. It definitely sounds like a bird. Thank you, random commenter. All right, I'll take it.
I'm imagining you perched right now, actually. I'm going to be honest. I don't think you're sitting in a chair at all. You are in a corner.
in a
Corvid
cage.
knife.
And subliminally influenced by your profile picture,
You know
for
what that
sure.
might be? It.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very dapper.
Yeah.
In my
One
PJs.
last quick question that I forgot to ask earlier. Magical Girl, would you say it's PG?
Huh. Yeah.
PG-13?
Yeah, I definitely PG-13. I wouldn't go any
violent.
younger than that. That's the
Yeah.
thing. It's kind of violent. There's
Yeah.
there's a bit of there's not like grisly focused on it gore, but there is like this guy dies and there's
Yeah.
blood, I guess, and
Okay.
there's guns in the second one and people get shot and
Yeah.
there's explosions and stuff.
I
There's
mean, I
not
started
like
playing Grand Theft
psychological-
Auto at age 10, so...
Yeah,
Yeah,
I never listened to those
Hookers
PG
and
things myself.
chainsaws, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you grew up fine, right? Like, yeah,
I think jury's still out, but...
Debatable.
debatable.
Okay, God, you might have a little...
Thanks, God.
Yeah,
But
you got to take your credit in this.
yeah, there's no sex stuff in the Magical Girl series. There's no nothing lewd. So if from that point of view, you're totally safe. There's just some violence, but it's
Yeah.
very in line with other Magical Girl stuff. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, if you watch Sailor Moon, or I was gonna say Madoka
Cool.
Magica, but that is definitely not PG-13. That's like psychological horror stuff. But yeah, if you've watched mainstream Magical Girl stuff, you get like that amount of Powerpuff level violence. If you can handle that, then yeah, you're fine.
Powerpuff Girls. Love that show. Thank you very much, Ravens Dagger, for being with us today.
Yeah, great
Your
meeting you.
inaugural,
Yeah, that was a great
episode.
interview.
Yeah. Thank you, and come back again. We'd love to have
Will
you
do.
again.
Let me know if you ever want me to pop on again.
Definitely will.
Awesome.
All
Thank
right.
you.
I want to point out that Richard said that's basically what happened with Jesse Pinkman in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
The same thing that happened with
Yeah.
Mim. Can you
With
just
Mim,
see
yep.
that? Like, that makes so much sense to me.
Oh,
Yeah, he
with
was supposed
Jesse
to die
Pinkman?
in the first season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was just such a
I can
crowd
totally see
please,
that too.
crowd pleaser, so they kept him on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and also he's central to the character, like to
Well,
the,
I
the
mean, he
character,
goes. So
right?
I mean,
Like,
yeah, like he's
to
such a
Walt.
huge part of the whole story
Walt's
arc. It's
growth,
it's hard to imagine this story without him. Like,
right.
what would it have even been? Like, it was
Yeah.
his story arc was one of the best ones. I mean,
and
Walt's
this-
was pretty amazing, but also we got a question about the tattoo. So I don't know
Oh,
if you
yes.
know, Baron, that it's been postponed, but it's not
Yep.
been canceled. It is
Yes.
happening. Jeff had family stuff he had to deal with, but it's gonna happen.
It is going to happen. Yes, indeed. There will be a
But
tattoo.
he's
on
been
Jeff's
able to
butt.
keep his pristine cheeks intact for now.
Mhm.
But they have a date. They have a date.
They're
So,
preserved on
I
ice.
just love the thought of like Jeff going in for like his like colonoscopy and like
Oh yeah. Yeah.
this guy doesn't have any tattoos. He's like just not a
No.
tattoo person, right?
No.
And then
Right.
they slide down the shorts, and there's just this giant fucking cat face with a
Yeah.
crown
Oh, it's
Yeah.
gonna be
on
awesome.
his ass. Like,
Yeah.
I love this. I love this so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think that also
Okay.
needs to be documented.
You're done.
The colonoscopy
Oh, it will be.
needs to be documented.
Okay.
Yes, the doctor's
Okay,
reaction.
How many? If we get
And then
500
also-
subscribers,
We'll get you
We'll
Our
film the
YouTube channel.
colonoscopy.
POV footage from
we're gonna
inside
lose
Jeff's coat.
subscribers.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Jeff.
He's not even here to like say
not
no
even-
to this like HEPA fucking or
No,
HIPAA
it's
You
a-
like how he sounds on the outside? How about the inside?
I mean, we're hoping to find the secret to his voice magic. You know, I don't know
Yeah.
where, but like, I just feel like if we video the colonoscopy, we're gonna
Yeah.
find like 100 people up there that are.
Well,
just
that's the thing. Yeah,
hanging
he's just a
out.
puppet. It's just there's
Yeah.
different hands up the same asshole. Just telling him how to- I'm so sorry. We've derailed so much.
I approve this message.
No, this is perfect. You know, it's like a palate cleanser before we get into the sillies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just ease into the sillies,
Sillies.
like a colonoscopy.
Justin,
Okay.
you should read the letter part like Harold.
Wait, the letter part? What letter part? Which one are we talking about?
Dear
Are we talking
Jeff.
about-
That.
Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness. What is this? Oh, dear Jeff, or whomever is reading this. I'm offering up, probably foolishly, an excerpt from an original short story I wrote a long time ago to the troll poll. The short story is called Naliahamuiya's Unwanted Promotion.
First
It's
fucking
about
try.
Couple of aliens, thank you. I've played a lot of Civilization, and I've been looking at lots of weird names and cities and stuff all day.
Naliahamuiya.
It's about a couple of aliens, an apprentice and his master who's learned something that has the potential of sending their industrial revolution-like world into chaos. I'm not a professional author, and it's never been edited by a real editor, so it might be in the ballpark of awful
The
fanfic,
troll
not
poll.
professionally published, but you might have fun with it. Best regards, Todd. Well, unfortunately, Jeff is not with us today to bear his voice on your script here, but we will do our very best to emulate Jeff.
All right. What?
So how are
let's
we
see,
going to do
what-
this?
Yeah, we've got how many characters?
We've got Nal,
or Nal, not Nal.
Nal, pasta.
And you
Pasta.
don't get to have a no.
Oh, so it's the monster.
The monster.
The monster. And a narrator. Okay. Keep scrolling down. Let's see.
Yeah, let's honestly.
Oh, Naliahamuiya. Yeah. Okay, that's Nal.
Nalia. Let's call
What
Nal.
is
Is it? Okay.
All right, let's turn to our lovely audience here and get to some just any what are we feeling? What
my
voices are we looking to hear today? I'm
Junila.
I've been particularly inspired by Lord of the Rings recently. I just watched all of the
Nal,
extended
Nal's a
editions.
guy. Okay.
Okay.
Nal's a guy. His master nodded. Very good. Okay. So Annie.
I feel like we're doing a little too much research into a.
Why don't we take Annie? Why don't you take narrator?
Okay.
All right. Ryan, do you want to be Nal or the master?
I'll be the master.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'll be Nal, I guess. Okay. So you were saying you were inspired by Lord of the Rings. What?
I watched the extended editions recently.
Oh, they're so
like
good.
little bits and pieces over the last week or so.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Okay.
it's so good.
So are we all just doing this like Lord of the Rings then? Are we all just picking Lord of the Rings characters? Is that, I don't know if we'll be able to. Oh, why don't we do a movie? Why don't we? Okay, so we'll start with Lord of the Rings. And
That's fun.
then
Yeah,
we'll
and then we'll
pause
switch
it.
to like Harry Potter
We'll
or
switch-
something, and then yes,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
fierce.
Perfect. Okay, great. So we're going to start with Lord of the Rings, and you just read your characters
In any
as
character you want. Yeah.
any character you want from Lord of the Rings, but stick with it. Stick with it.
I'm just the
for-
narrator, right? Or do I have a character?
You're the narrator, and then we'll give you if there's like a side character that
Okay,
comes in. I
sounds
think
good.
there's like
Yeah.
one line of like a.
And you can also just pick random
Some voice.
character voices from Lord of the Rings if you want to, just for fun as the narrator. Like, why not?
You guys.
Yeah. Of course. You have to do it. You have to do a voice from Lord of the Rings, and then we'll guess afterwards who you are. Okay. Have you seen Lord of the Rings? Do you know? Have you never seen Lord of the Rings?
Annie Ellicott, answer the question.
Oh my goodness. Oh
Annie?
my goodness.
Have you heard of Kate Blanchett?
Yes, I have. I've heard of
Just
Kate
be
Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
Like a
Or Liv
like
Tyler,
a regal
or-
Kate Blanchett.
Is she with an English accent?
Yes.
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 Okay.
She actually famously narrates the opening sequence like brilliantly. The whole
It
film.
is. It is brilliant.
There were 9 rings.
Oh, did you watch it on that big
Nine
TV too?
I did with the surround sound. Thanks. Ahmed
so
set up our surround
jealous.
sound. I was absolutely just
Oh man.
living. It was so good.
Jelly. I'm a jelly boy. Okay. All right. All right.
All right, let's hit it. You want to get? Are you going?
What is this?
Nal asked.
I have to.
Yeah.
You are an astute apprentice, you tell me.
I was hoping you would do that.
There's a small flap near one end of the black piece. It flips open, and you can insert the bar.
The master instructed. Nal dutifully followed the instructions. His thumb claw found the flap, which made a soft click when opened. The materials were like nothing Nal had ever touched before. The black piece wasn't stone, metal, wood, or glass, but had properties of all of them. Upon close inspection, it seemed to have a vein structure just under the surface, but not chaotic and random like organic structures. It was extremely orderly, with lines bending at perfectly square angles and made of what looked like metal through the semi-translucent outer skin. It was an object of wonder, perhaps one of the strange artifacts from prehistory, believed to have come from the Creator above.
One ring to rule them all. The notched end goes in first, and push on until it stops.
Nal's master said as Nal inspected the bar. The bar slid easily into the item, with the last third being met by some resistance, like a spring sat at the bottom. But it stopped and did not come back out when Nal pushed his thumb away. Another click occurred when he closed the flap, which turned the object into a seemingly solid cylinder once again.
Let's pause.
And pause.
We felt
okay.
that, girl. We felt that together. We knew
We
it was
felt that,
time.
totally.
Uh,
Okay, now
do you want to do Harry Potter?
Hey, let's do Harry Potter.
Okay, fun.
I feel like the Harry Potter narrator is the same person.
It's Jim Dale, or who's
Jim
the other
Dale,
one?
who's that?
I don't remember who the other one is. I listened to the Jim Dale.
Jim Dale and
Stephen Fry.
Stephen Fry.
mean
Thank
the-
you. Yes.
I mean the movies, right? Is there a
narrator?
in the movie?
No.
I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
so.
Okay.
I think you should try doing it as Moaning Myrtle the whole time. As the
Moaning Myrtle. I don't remember.
Yeah. Rich just said no.
no.
God said no. Jeez.
Okay. All right. I'm just kidding. Jesus. All right. Does everyone have their character?
Yep.
Oh, I've totally. Okay. Another click occurred.
see,
Cylinder once again. Okay.
So now Ryan's starting. Now touch the other end.
Now touch the other end.
Oh, nice.
Nal nearly jumped off his perch, and the item clattered to the floor when it made a noise. Patterns on the long surface illuminated as a gas lamp burned within it.
What is that thing? Is it dangerous?
Nal asked excitedly.
Calm yourself. You're investigating a fact. Remember your training. There it is. You can hold it in your hand as it exists. Do what your training tells you to do.
His master says calmly. The heart of life teaching was learning from life's experiences first and foremost. Nal picked the item back up. It was still cool to the touch. The glowing symbols were reminiscent of the writing of the ancient ancestors, and upon closer inspection, some of what he thought were veins were what was actually glowing. Nal ran a finger down one of the lines of text, and to his astonishment, a melodious voice erupted forth.
This is you, Annie.
This is going to be Annie.
Itala manilo malmialana ni hualomi inyoti kualimisia nimlom. The language was strange, and sing-song tones were clearly being spoken by a Junila.
This is a device that captures voices and can recite them back. The voice on it is one of our great ancestors. He is speaking an ancient tongue.
Nal said. His master nodded.
Very good. It's more than that, in fact. It seems to contain a story. It speaks of a great ark named Naliahamuiya, a ship that has traveled a vast distance and brought the founders of the Seven Groves.
He said. Nal's eyes went wide, and he said,
This is an amazing and joyous discovery. There are still many secrets across the ocean we still do not know and hear.
Shall we switch?
Yes.
Oh yeah, let's switch.
do we have
New
another
movie.
movie?
Yeah.
Anybody in the comments? What movies do we want to hear? God,
What
do you have
movies
any-
we got?
we could do what's ones with like some fun character voicing as well, like.
Oh, what about could we do TV shows?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
What about SpongeBob?
We're the boss. We're the
SpongeBob
boss.
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Okay, fun. Yeah. Let's do it. All right. Oh gosh. Oh, I'm so nervous. Okay. You could do Sandy. You could be Sandy Cheeks. It's kind of
kinda
close
like
to your
a-
Dolly.
Close to
Honestly.
Dolly, yeah. Pretty close
Dolly?
to Dolly.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll just go Dolly. I've also haven't watched.
That's okay.
Girl, you gotta. Okay.
That's not like Lord of the Rings. That's not Lord of the Rings.
I wasn't allowed TV growing up, okay?
Okay, let's see. Which one are you going for, Justin? I don't want to step on your toes. Who are you going to be?
I'm going for Patrick.
Okay, great. I was about to do that, so great. I'll do.
Okay.
It is not joyous.
His master snapped.
It is the most frightening thing that is ever discovered. Perhaps it is an omen that the creator above has appearing more and more frequently in recent months. But it speaks of him well.
Nile looked at his master, not understanding.
Master Life Teacher, how could this not be one of the most important discoveries of all time?
Because those two pieces were purposely separated nearly 1,000 years ago by the elders. I'm afraid my curiosity got the better of me when I learned of this in an obscure reference to the items. With the help of the life teacher Early Molly, did I find the metal part of the Naliahamuiya grove.
His master said.
But why would they do such a thing? What harm could come from knowing more about our ancestors? Has it been translated?
Asked Nile. His master stopped him.
That's so good, Justin.
Thank you.
Let's do. Okay, sorry. Where am I? The Great Arc. The Great Arc.
The Great Ark is not a ship that sailed upon the water, but one which sailed among the stars. It carried not just the 7 founders of thousands of people. Thousands! The story talks of the creator above, not as we view him, from here, far below, beside him, up there.
He said, looking up into the sky through the canopy window. It was the first time Neil heard his master speak in such awe of something. But the Creator above made them and placed them upon the life-giving tree where they emerged and formed the 7 great nations. They were special, above the common animals, for they were given intelligence and the ability to sing and learn. This was as it had been taught for all of history. Nal believed it. Everyone believed it.
Is this me? No.
I think it's Nal.
No. This is blasphemy. It can't be true. You've misinterpreted.
He said.
Oh, that's a lot of talking. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole tamale.
Naliahamuiya, life teachers, and even the Council of Elders aren't infallible. Long ago, they were the keepers of knowledge and the protectors of society. But science is progressing too fast. Many people who are not a part of the teaching path are making discoveries, disturbing discoveries, that are becoming more and more difficult to explain with what we know. This puts all the pieces together. The fossil records, the signs of this world have been in some great change long before written history. The discrepancies as to how we speak and write, the strange artifacts from prehistory, all of it explainable by one small fact. That we are not from this world.
That was fun.
Todd voice.
All right. Well, now it's time for us to move on to our next segment. And
Now, my friends.
we got one more? Do we have one more?
We have one more as far as
Yup, we got
I
one.
know.
One for Sandra
Yeah.
J.
Okay.
L. Jackson.
Yeah.
To
Okay.
the stage.
Oh, Jackson,
Did you pick the script for her? She's
Which one are we doing?
No, we've
She won't
got
be
3 to
pleased if it's
choose
not.
from. We've got
Royale
Royale
with
with cheese. We've got
massage.
foot massage.
Well, tell her,
and
tell her,
apartment
tell her.
scene. Sandra. Which scene would you like to do?
Oh my gosh! I'm back, everybody!
Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Ryan.
We're so glad you've joined us.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
I'm so happy.
How was
you're
your-
here.
Love seeing you, Annie. You're just so sweet. Are you wearing a shawl right now? Oh my goodness.
I'm wearing
Look at
it.
that.
I don't even know what this is. It's kind of a dress. It's kind of a It's kind of a sack. It's kind of like a big
A
sack.
squancho.
Ain't nothing wrong
It's
with
a squancho. It's a squancho.
Squancho, that's cool
It's a
too.
poncho you can squanch in.
It's a poncho you can squanch in.
Can I buy one for
And you
myself?
can-
Well, actually, can I get Justin to buy it for me?
Oh,
All right,
yes.
Sandra, I have a question for you.
Sandra.
Yeah.
Or I have a question for you and the audience if we want to. We are doing
okay.
we have a choice of 3 different scenes from Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction, the movie. Remember from last time,
Oh
Sandra?
my God, yeah, I love that one. I was Sandra
did
L.
you-
Jackson. It was so fucking
That's
cool. I loved it.
right.
Would you like to do that again?
Again. Say what? Again.
That's right. Good
That's
job,
right.
Sandra. You booked it.
Remember. Yeah. I fucking
Okay, girl. Okay, now it's going to your head.
I'm a diva. You know this about me.
I'm
okay?
a diva. I'm a.
Yeah,
Okay. So we have 3 different scenes. We have the foot massage scene. We have the. Well, how would that work with you though, Sandra? You don't have feet, do you? I don't mean to bring it up on live.
Say that
Everyone.
again. Just kidding. No, I don't. Say it, no feet for me.
So
I
do you,
don't
is
have
it
any
kind of a
either,
touchy subject
Sandra.
to do the foot massage one? Is that going to be triggering for you?
But is Sandra L. Jackson in that one?
I think so. I don't know. Is
I don't
she?
know. I don't remember the foot massage scene. Who's in that?
Either. God,
Vincent
do you
and
remember
Jules.
God?
Vincent and Jules.
I guess we're doing that one then. Great choice.
I like it. Let's do it.
Foot massage.
We're gonna massage all the feet.
Sandra,
In honor of Dungeon Crawler Carl coming out last week, I think we.
That's
we,
why.
Oh yeah, that's
Not
a good
because
call.
we love
That's a really
feet.
good call, Ryan. Yep.
We love feet.
All right. Do we have any suggestions from the audience besides who should be in the scene with Sandra L. Jackson here? Do we?
Yes,
I kind
suggestions?
of, doing the movies one was kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie.
That was fun. I like other Muppets. I like being around other Muppets. There's like Yoda.
That's true. Jabba the Hutt is kind of like a huge
Jabba the
Muppet.
Hutt is like a big. Yeah. That totally counts.
Okay, let's do Star Wars then for the first one.
Star Wars. Go, Eddie. Eddie, why are you
Annie,
crying,
hold
Eddie?
on.
Why are
Just-
you crying?
Jesus
Don't cry.
in the biscuit.
Okay.
Are you telling me
Wars,
that
if
you've
they
never
should.
seen Lord of the Rings or Star Wars?
Please let these Star
I've never seen them either.
Wars stay.
You're getting
sorry,
your nerd
Ryan.
card taken away. You're getting revoked. You're not a shit the bed.
I'm not a real nerd. I'm
Okay,
too-
honestly, there's something to be said for like what
Still
you
love you.
think people in Star Wars sound like. I'm excited to
Okay.
find out what
Yes,
you think
I like
Star
that.
Wars
I like
characters sound
that.
like.
Yeah, you just do like your own like interpretation.
Do this.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so who's Jules? I can't remember which who's Jules is you, right, Sandra?
Jules is Sandra. Yeah, me. I'm
Okay.
Sandra.
Okay. Then who else is in this? I think it's just Jules and Vincent, isn't it? I'll do. Do you want to be
is it
Vincent,
Vincent?
Annie? I want to. I want to really put you on the spot here. You can. You can have a lot of the
that's
lines
nice.
as the characters that you don't know. I'll read the stage directions then.
Do. Me. Me.
Yeah, you gotta get it nice and nice and warmed up. All right. All right. Let's see what we can do here. You get those. Girl, you don't even have lips. How are you trilling?
Never ask a woman secrets about the secrets of her trill.
The secrets of
Or her lips.
Or her lips. Okay.
Only I can make that joke, God. Well, I guess.
All right. Let's see. What Star Wars character should we start with?
Do it. Vincent and Jules, their long, matching overcoats practically dragging on the ground, walk through the courtyard of what looks like a hacienda-style Hollywood apartment building. We track alongside.
What's your name?
Sounds just like Han Solo. Hey,
More like
Sandra.
Aunt Solo.
Oh, it's me. Yeah, sorry, I got distracted. Is it Mia or Maya? Mia.
Let's go. Yeah, there you go.
Mia.
How did Marcellus and her meet?
I don't know. However, people meet people. She used to be an actress.
She ever do anything I would have saw?
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Cut.
Long time since I've seen Star Wars.
Oh my god, that one really got me.
Okay.
Okay.
That's so good. That's so good. Okay. Where am I? Okay, I think her biggest deal was she starred in a pilot.
What's a pilot?
Well,
It's like with X-Wings and Y-Wings, come on.
yeah, you know the shows on TV.
I don't watch TV.
Yeah, but you're aware that there's an invitation called television invention, rather, and on that invention they show shows.
Yeah?
Well, the way they pick the shows on TV is they make one show, and that show's called a pilot. And they show that one show to the people and who pick the shows, and on the strength of that one show, they decide if they want to make more shows. Some get accepted, some become TV programs, and some don't and become nothing. She starred in one of the ones that became nothing.
Uta-uga! They enter the apartment building. Vincent and Jules walk through the reception area and wait for the elevator.
You remember Antoine? What did I say? Rockamora?
Don't your eyes big enough, girl?
black.
Damn.
I'm sorry, my glasses. I need a new prescription. Everything's too small for me.
Oh shit, those are glasses? I thought those were eyelashes.
They're beautiful glasses.
You're right, they are gorgeous.
Ryan. Okay,
So sorry.
thank you. Half black, half Samoan. Used to call himself Tony. Thank you so much. That's so helpful. Tony Rocky Horror. I don't know why I'm doing the mic. I'm doing the mic. It's like good mic work. Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Fat, right?
I wouldn't go so far as to call the brother fat. He got weight problem. What's the nigga gonna do? He's Samoan.
I think I know who you mean. What about him?
Well,
Paula Deen.
Marcellus fucked his ass up good. I went around the campfire. It was on account of Marcellus, Wallace's wife.
The elevator arrives. The men step inside.
What'd you do? Fuck her?
No, nothing that bad.
Well, what then?
He gave her a foot massage.
A foot massage? That's all?
Yep.
What did Marcellus do?
He sent a couple of guys over to his place. They took him out on patio of his apartment, threw his ass over the balcony. Nigga fell 4 stories. They had this garden at the bottom and closed the glass like one of them greenhouses. Nigga fell through that. Since then, he's kind of developed a speech impediment. You know what I mean? Okay, I can say that.
The elevator door opens, it does. Jules and Vincent exit, they do.
That's a damn shame.
There you go.
That's all I know, Annie.
Still, I have to say, play with matches, you get burned.
No, what do you mean?
You don't be giving Marcellus Wallace's new bride a foot massage.
But you don't think he overreacted?
Antoine probably didn't expect Marcellus to react like he did, but he had to expect a reaction.
Okay,
was
pause
a
real
fuck-
quick. Do we?
Hold on, what?
I'm so
need to-
sorry. Do we want a new movie? Your Star Wars ones are blowing it out of the water.
These are spot on. I think these are the sequels.
Sandra's just Sandra, and Eddie's like in Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
I don't really remember The Last Jedi, so.
That's okay. You didn't have to remember that
Probably
one.
characters from that one.
Yeah, that's where Andy's coming from. His Last Jedi. What's another franchise? Hey, why don't we narrow it down, Annie, with things that you maybe have actually seen?
Okay.
Is there anything?
Is there anything I've ever seen? Is that your question?
Yeah, yes, it is. Because all of the best and most iconic ones you've really
He
let
means
slip.
movies.
Well, we could do TV too if we wanted to.
Yeah, TV works. I know lots of that.
I've seen, I'm into Severance. I liked The Sopranos. I liked Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, let's just all do our Tony Soprano or Edie Falco.
Tony
Oh,
Soprano.
my gosh.
Tony Soprano.
Tony Soprano.
Yes, all of you do your Tony Soprano.
Okay, everyone, let's start with Tony Soprano. It was a foot massage. Let's
Right.
go.
Ooh.
It was a foot massage. A foot massage, nothing. I give my mother a foot massage.
Wait, where are we?
It's Vincent's
Look
line
at
is
you can look at the stream on the.
It's her massage. If you want it.
I
No,
can't
I
see
feel it
that.
away. It's bad.
We're also on page 6 in your
Ballpark.
script.
Okay. I can.
Page 6, middle.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. It's.
Sorry.
Let me play. It's laying hands on Marcellus Wallace's new wife in a familiar way. It is as bad as eating her out, no? But you're in the same fucking ballpark.
Joseph stops Vincent.
Stop. Whoa. Stop right there. Eating the bitch out and giving the bitch a foot massage ain't even the same fucking thing. No.
Right, not the same. Not the same
never seen The
thing.
Sopranos.
The same ballpark.
It ain't no ballpark either. Look, maybe your method of massage differs from mine, but touching this lady's feet and sticking your tongue in her holiest of holies ain't the same ballpark, ain't the same league, ain't even the same fucking sport. Foot massages don't mean shit.
Have you ever given a foot massage?
Don't be telling me about foot massages. I'm the foot fucking master.
Given a lot of them?
Shit, yeah. I got my technique down, man. I don't tickle or nothing.
You ever given a guy a foot massage?
Jules looked at him for a long moment. He's been set up.
Fuck you.
So he starts walking down the hall. Vincent, smiling, walks a little behind.
How many?
Fuck you.
Would you give a foot massage? Would you give me a foot massage? I'm kind of tired.
Man, you best back off. I'm getting pissed. This is the door. I'm getting pissed. Beat. This is the door.
Good job, you did your beat.
Thank you.
The two men stand in front of the door number 49. They whisper.
What time is it?
7:22 in the morning.
It ain't quite time. Let's hang back.
And shall we scene it there?
Yeah, let's see.
We got a few more pages left.
Okay,
We're pushing 840.
Yes, holy shit, that was long.
40. That
Too
was a
long,
long
too
one.
long.
Yeah, let's stop pushing and let's start ending.
Yeah. God, sounds
That
good,
was a delight, Annie. Okay, so let me re-show this comment for you.
Can we assign Annie movie homework and make her show up on cinema?
I think you have to watch
I've been
the
invited,
first.
but
I think you have to watch either the first movie in Lord of the Rings or Star Wars.
yeah, which one should it be? Which
What are you
one?
looking,
First movie
God?
in the Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings is objectively better.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings
Lord
is
of
a
the Rings.
much better series.
Then Star Wars. All right.
Oh, yeah, way
I mean,
better.
Star Wars will have my heart. It is like iconic. It is forever like.
Yeah, I love
My
it. Don't get me wrong.
but just as a damn, listen to God opening a cold one up there. Like it echoed throughout humanity.
It's Miller time.
Miller!
Yeah.
You
No, I
son
just
of
yeah,
a
there.
bitch.
Honestly, Annie,
Sorry.
too, extra credit if you watch the extended version because I'm telling
Yeah.
you,
Of Lord of the Rings.
yeah,
Oh, the
it
storytelling
is
top
like an
notch.
hour more than the other ones. It's like I think each of the extended ones is like 3.5 to 4 hours, but it is worth it. I'm telling you, Peter Jackson could not have been better.
Yeah, he's the best. He's like, yeah.
Have
he
you
does
seen
it-
Meet the
tells story's amazing.
Feebles?
Is that Peter
Yup.
Jackson?
Meet the Feebles is like an early Peter Jackson film.
Oh, shit.
It's
Oh,
like
yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah,
with,
yeah. I
like
haven't
with
seen
the
it.
Muppets.
Yes, yes.
It's so good.
Oh my
Are you
gosh,
fucking
I
kidding
need to
me?
watch that.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
so
Sandra,
good.
you need to
It's
you need to get on that.
so
Yeah,
good.
totally. Okay, I'm gonna watch that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure your
watch that.
mom's
That'll
in
be
it,
my homework.
Sandra. Someone's hands up her ass.
Oh.
Oh no, on that.
See that again. Say
Your mom.
that again. No! It's okay. I know you're joking, Ryan. It's okay. I still love you. Okay. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Oh,
We
look
love
at you.
you.
We love you. Thank you for hanging out.